Today we're going to be talking about equations and what they are. So your objective today, I will demonstrate my mathematical ability. To understand a equation is a statement of equality between two expressions through class discussion. This is going to build on what we've already been talking about with expressions when we move into start now talking about equations. Okay, so we already know that a variable is simply a letter. Okay, it's a letter that represents a number. An equation is simply going to be two expressions. Okay, two expressions. And it's really important that we know what the difference between an expression and an equation is. The biggest difference is that an equation is going to have an equal sign. Okay, it's going to equal something. It is a complete thought. A number sentence is simply a equation. That's all it is. Equation, the way I try to remember equation, if I look at this prefix right here, equa, okay, they must equal. So when we're talking about an equation, that's what we're talking about, is that it must have an equal sign in it in order for it to become a answer. Okay. Now, a solution, okay, is just a fancy term, for the answer. So when I'm talking about, is this a solution or what is the solution of this equation? All I'm really asking you for is this a answer to the equation? So your first problem says, is x equals 48 a solution to 1/3 times the quantity x plus 4 and equals 20? So all I'm asking for is this number going to be a solution to this equation? Well, remember we talked about solution, we're talking about is it the answer? So all you're going to have to do is we're going to go through pretty much the same process as we had before. So I'm going to have 1/3, I'm going to write the original problem, okay? I'm going to write the original problem. Okay, that was step one. What is the original problem? I'm going to write it out. Now, step two, for these type of problems, is I'm going to substitute this variable in. Okay, if I look at my problem now, this variable is going to go right here. So, if I write this out, I'm going to go 1/3. Okay. I'm going to put my variable, my term is going to go right here. Plus 4 equals 20. Okay. So 48 is going to go right there where I highlighted. Now I'm going to go through my orders of operation. So I'm going to work on my inside of my parentheses. So 48 plus 4 is going to be 52. Okay. And then I'm going to multiply this through, so I have 52 divided by 3, and I want to see if that equals 20 or not. Okay, well, I don't know what it is, so I'm going to divide it out. 3 goes into 5 once. 1 times 3 is 3. Subtract that, I get 22. Goes in there 7 times. 7 times 3 is 21. And I subtract that. So I get 17 1/3 as my answer. That does not equal 20. So therefore, this is not a solution. Okay? If that was to be equal, then it would be a solution. But however, they're not. This is not a solution. Okay, this one's a little bit more involved because I have expressions. I have a full, complete expressions on both sides. Remember, this is an equation because I have an equal sign. but here's an expression and here's an expression. So, but we're going to work this still the same way. I'm still going to write my original equation, okay? And then once I have my original expression, then I'm going to substitute my values in. Well, this is going to be my x on both sides. Okay, it's going to go in here, and it's going to go in here. So when I rewrite this now, I have 3. I'm going to put my highlight because that's where my variable is going to go. Okay, or my new number. Minus 1 equals 5. Same thing again. And you don't have to do all the highlighting. I'm just doing it so you can see where everything is going. Okay, now this is a negative 5.5, so I'm going to put a negative 5 and 1/2. Negative 5 and 1/2. Okay, I'm going to separate with parentheses so I know where that number is at. So now you're going to work on one side and get the one side solved before I go to the other side. So if I pick this side over here, I'm going to go 3 times negative 5 and 1/2. So 3 times negative 5 and 1/2. Well, I'm first going to take this improper. So 5 times 2 is 10, plus 1 is 11. So I have 11 over 2. Remember, that's a negative. Don't forget that negative up here. And I'm going to take that times 3. I'm going to go ahead and put it over 1. So now I know what I'm dealing with. So now I have, I look to see, can I cross reduce? I can't cross reduce. So now I'm going to multiply straight across. So I have negative 33 divided by 2 as my answer. Now I'm going to then, because I'm dealing with mixed numbers, I'm probably going to take this back to being a mixed number. So I'm going to put 33 inside my box, 2 outside my box. 2 goes into 3 once. 1 times 2 is 2. Okay, subtract that out. That's 1. Bring down my 3. 2 goes into 13 6 times. 2 times 6 is 12. And 12 minus 13 is 1. So I have 16 and 1/2. So now I have 16 and 1/2 minus 1 equals 5 times negative 5 and 1/2 plus 10. Okay. Well, 16 and 1/2 minus 1 is going to be 15 and 1/2. And I need to see, does that equal this side? Well, now I can concentrate all my efforts on this other side to see if it equals or not. Okay? So now I'm going to take this improper. So I have 5. Well, I'm going to bring this over here. I'm going to have 5 times negative 5 and 1/2. Wait, this is supposed to be a negative. So this is actually going to be 17 and 1/2. Okay. So then I'm going to multiply this through. So I know that this is a negative 11 halves. Okay, it's negative 11 halves. I can't cross reduce, so I'm going to multiply this across. I have negative 55 over 2. Okay, well, I'm going to divide that out because I can if I want to, or I'm going to leave it, but since I already started with it that way, that's how I'm going to finish it. So I have 55 divided by 2. 2 goes into 55 2 times rather, sorry. Let me get my head on straight. 2 times 2 is 4. Okay. And bring down my 5. 2 goes into 15 7 times. That'd be 14. I subtract that, I get 1, so I get, this is a negative now. Negative 27 and 1/2 plus 10. I want to see, does that equal negative 17 and 1/2? Well, I'm not all the way done now, because now I'm going to add a positive 10. Well, when I do that, I'm going to end up with a negative 17 and 1/2. And if you look at the other side, my other side also equals negative 17 and 1/2. So therefore, looking at these two, they are equal to each other. So my answer is yes, negative 5 and 1/2 is a solution to this equation. Okay, so I have the ages of 3 sisters, and their ages are consecutive integers. The consecutive word is not a hard word, but all it means is these numbers are in order. Okay, they fall right in line with each other. So consecutive would be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's nothing in between any of those numbers. Okay, and their sum of their ages is 45, and I want you to find their ages. Okay, so I know that one sister is so old, right? Well, let's think about it. So let's take a pause. If I have consecutive numbers, that's like 1, 2, 3, okay, or 4, 5, 6. These are all consecutive numbers, right? Well, if I write expressions for all these with variables, if I say this is x, how am I going to get 2? Well, if x is 1, don't I add 1 to this one? So I have x plus 1. Okay. Or if I want to get this one, isn't it x plus 2? Wouldn't that be how that would work? Okay, same thing. If I say that x, if I have x and I say x is 4, well then I can go x plus 1, which would be 5. X plus 2 then would be 6. Alright, well let's take the same idea of this and bring it over here. So if I find my consecutive numbers, I have x, I'm going to have x plus 1, and then I'm going to have x plus 2. Because I have 3 sisters, their ages are consecutive integers, so they're in order. This would be like 1, 1 plus 2 is 2, or 1 plus 1 is 2, 1 plus 2 is 3, 1, 2, 3, okay? Now, their sum, if I was to add these all together, I'm going to get 45. What I want to know is I want to know what their ages are. So I'm going to write an expression or an equation to help me solve this information. So I'm going to have x plus, because that's the first age, plus x plus 1. That's for the second sister. Now for the third sister, I'm going to add x plus 3. Okay, and that all equals 45. Now, I can rearrange the order. So I'm going to have x plus x plus x plus 1 plus 3. My pen will ever work right. Okay, equals 45. Now I'm going to combine the same last name, so I have 1, 2, 3 x's. So I can say 3x plus 4. Okay, 1 plus 3 is 4, equals now 45. Okay. Now, I'm not done, so now I want to go ahead and solve this. Well, I know that I need to get this moved to the other side. Well, we've kind of talked about this a little bit before. If I'm going to move things across the equal sign, I have to do the opposite. So the opposite of adding is subtracting, or adding the opposite. So I'm going to add The opposite of a positive 4 is a negative 4, so I'm going to add that over here, so it's a negative 4. Okay, so I have 3x equals 41. Okay, hold on, I made a mistake. This should be a 2. I went too far ahead. Instead of erasing all, I'm just going to make my changes. So it's easier for me to make all my changes here. Okay, well this is still going to stay at 3x. This is going to be a 2. This is going to be a 2. Change this over here. Notice when I made my changes, I didn't erase the whole thing. Okay, I just erased what I needed to, just the part. Because I have a lot of, all this is right, except for this is supposed to be a 2. And so this now is going to be a 3. Okay, because 1 plus 2 is 3. And I'm going to add a negative 3 to both sides, which would now make this a 42. Okay, now I want to get rid of my coefficient here, so in order to do that, I'm going to divide. So I'm going to divide by 3. So I'm going to come over here, 42 divided by 3. 3 goes into 4 once. 1 times 3 is 3. 4 minus 3 is 1. Bring down my 2. 3 goes into 12 4 times. 4 times 3 is 12. I subtract that out, I get 0. So here x equals 14. Okay, so if x equals 14, so my first age is 14. 14 plus 1 is 15. 14 plus 2 is 16. Now, the way you want to check this is to make sure you're right, that you did all this work correct, is you would add these together. So I would have, so I'm going to go ahead and check it. I'm going to have 14 plus 15, okay, which is 9, 2, plus 16, that's 15, carry my 1, and I get 45. Okay, so all this works. So the ages then, if I want to know what the ages are, okay, I have 14, 15, 16 are the ages of the sisters, and their sum then is 45. Right? Make sure you write your notes completely, have your summary, fill out your WSQ. I know it's been a while.